folks. Welcome back to the Sales World channel, the NBC network, with your host, Hurricane H. You hear it, Sales World. We're talking business. We're talking a lot of good stuff here with a super guest. And this particular guest is really known to be the king of referrals. And I'll leave it at that. We're going to talk about that more. He is a coach, he's a consultant, he's a speaker, he's a trainer, he's a workshop leader. I mean, he's an AI, and technology innovator in the real estate market, real estate world. I mean, he's done quite a bit. He's an author. He's been featured in a lot of places. I mean, TV, internationally, nationally. I mean, he's got books. I mean, I think cracking the Millionaire code, right? That's one of the books. So there's quite a bit. I mean, I'm not gonna say it all. I mean, I have with me Brandon Barnum. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hurricane H. Happy to be here.
Well, listen, it's a true honor and a pleasure. And I don't think I mentioned that he is also CEO of HOA.com, and we'll talk about that. I think that's his current title, if I'm not mistaken. But again, we will discover more about Brandon. Brandon, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your journey, because there's so much. I mean, I went quickly on that stuff, but that's years of you being in the workplace and making and building and really making a difference in this world, in the business world specifically. So let's talk about all that journey and how it all began, and some of the achievements that you've put in. Then we'll talk about the books. Then we'll talk about your current role, as well as you and I had a brief discussion about this World Alliance. So let's talk about all that stuff.
All right, all the good stuff. Yeah, my journey really started out after college. I got full custody of my son. I found out in college you don't have to be married to have a kid. And so at 22, I had a kid, and at 24, I had full custody. And I was only making about $20,000 a year at that point. And I knew I had to make a change. So I got into the mortgage industry and had somebody mentor me in the art and the science of what I now call raving referrals. And within 18 months, I had 10x'd my income from $20,000 to $200,000 a year. And ever since then, I've just been on a mission to help as many people do the same.
Oh, that you make it very simple and humble. That's a lot. And by the way, a lot of us, when you start off college, that back in the days, that's really where you start, the 20 mark, 21, 22, 24. You can make more than that. I mean, some people may have gone different likes and whatever, but at the end of that was kind of like the entry point in a lot of places. And you talked about the banking industry and the mortgage industry. That's a very tough place to be. I mean, like you and I briefly talked about how I have some background with real estate and mortgages, because I mean, when you're in real estate, you have to know about mortgages as part of it, comes as a pair, right? So it's a pretty rough business, and there's a lot of ups and downs there. But you talked about referrals, and we're gonna deep dive in there, because in the sales world, referrals is the name of the game. I mean, it's really it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's part of what makes sales and business operate. But really, the name of the game is multiplying your contacts, your network, and so on and so forth. And I think that's going to lead us to today's, core discussion later on. But so I love what you said. That was funny. I discovered that I can have a kid without having married. Listen, I mean, a lot of people do that, and it is what it is. You can still, take care of your children, if you're a single parent. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I personally, I have no judgment about that. It's sometimes it happens, right? It's all good. But, you did what you had to do. You succeeded. And in the business, you talked about $20,000. That's not a big income, by the way, in any shape and form. And especially when you're raising kids, that's a tough one. So that was a difficult thing. So I know, you need it to reinforce your value and your finances and make it happen. And you did, and I mean, 10 times stuff is multiplying, your revenue and income to that degree in I guess, a short period of time, I'm assuming, makes a very healthy, push. And I love the mission that you've taken upon yourself to help others do exactly what you did. Now, I know that you've achieved more than 500,000 or 500 million plus in terms of business out there, and all the stuff that you do. So let's talk about, how did you get from 20 to 200 and to the next level? Because a lot of us listening right now, we're not content. Nobody should be content with what you make. I mean, let's put it this way. Actually, I'm going to say something that's funny. You're going to love this. So I do interviews, for sales reps, and it's a very cliche question, like how much would you like to make? In sales, I mean, you want to see like if these people have the ambition, what their mind's at, right? And to be surprisingly, as simple as this, you get people that say, "Oh, I want to make 50,000." They give you an actual mark that is not even high point. Now I get it; it's high point for them at that point, but why do you put limits to how much potential you can earn? Especially in sales, you have no limits to what you can earn. It's really the sky's the limit. And that was just more like more of a psychiatry kind of psychological question to see just where their heads at, and it's a big deal. But you are multiplying your revenue year after year after year, and there shouldn't be any limit to what that is. Why is that? Well, Brandon, I mean, you have a lot of experience in this. How does that work? Why people are limiting themselves, and why they shouldn't look for that next digit in front of their income or annual revenue, whatever you want to call that.
It's mindset. I mean, that's the simplicity of it. It really boils down to what do you believe is true for you? And you create your own reality with your beliefs, how you believe the world works for you or against you. I've known people in my life that believe both things, right? Either that everything is working in their favor and they experience amazement every day, or that life's hard and it's tough and you got to do a job you don't love because it's just what's required. And then life sucks. So really your attitude determines your altitude. And the most successful people that I know are optimists and they believe that everything's going to work out awesome.
And I love that. Your attitude is your altitude. I mean, I think that you got to take that to the bank somewhere, and just copper it. I know I'm not sure if it's an exclusive to you. I mean, I haven't heard that before, but it's really powerful stuff. I mean, that's real. I mean, really, your attitude is everything, right? If you have a higher ambition and stuff, and you're excited, and your mindset is in the right place, you're gonna see everything positive, and that things will work out, and they do work out. That's the part. If you think that and you work to, obviously it's not easy. It's not like, hey, snap and it's going to happen, but you got to take the steps, the necessary work, and all the stuff. But it will happen. And of course, if you think the world sucks and everything is bad, well, that energy is going to just kind of pretty much inflate itself and amplify. And the next thing you know, you're going to be like caught up in that whole disastrous zone of darkness, bad, tough job, can't help it, sucks, work, it's like, oh my God, I'm looking for Friday kind of concept. So it's a big deal. So
Yeah, I
so
call it
yeah.
living life by design versus life by default. A lot of people are living life by default. They're just kind of slipping through, sliding through life, and every day is like Groundhog's Day. It's kind of like the day before, the week before, and there's not that fire and spice. And then other people have a plan, and that's life by design. They know what they want to achieve. They've got their goals written out, and every day they're getting closer and closer to the life that they want to create.
That's a big one. Life by design, and life in general is designed, right? I mean, unless we talk, in a different world of, where we don't have that, but everything is designed. I mean, we are designed. We coded as a creation, as a being, as the universe, and everything we do needs to have some sort of a plan, and that's really what it is. I mean, ever since you're a kid, your parents kind of like plan things for you. Then you get to a point where you plan things for yourself. But you're right. There are people that just wing it day in, day out. They're just kind of like going through the motions, just let's see what tomorrow brings. Uh, you know, Technically, if you didn't change what you've done, it will be the same, a repeat of exactly today and yesterday. Uh, in another world, we do use, the definition of insanity as doing the same thing and expect a different outcomes. I'm not saying that we're insane, but borderline sometimes insanity is when you're expecting things to happen where you're not doing anything different and you're not building towards that goal. So I love what you said about you have to have a plan, you have to set goals, you have to, I just had a show about vision boards. Put things in front of you, see things where it's really you aligning. I mean, everybody, and you're right. Life is beautiful. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, and there is a powerful feeling about success. And again, that success doesn't mean anything because everybody's different in terms of what success means to them. But at the end of the day, every step that you do something new that is getting you to whatever the goal that you set is getting you a little bit of success of the day. And that's all there is. It's not difficult in its own. It's just that it's not easy because you have to go through the process of building, working, sweating. I mean, can have some long nights. It is what it is. I'm sure, Brendan, that you took some time, to do the work. It wasn't like, all right, you got mentored. That's one. You trained, you learned. That's the other thing. Like you need to invest in yourself to be good at what you do and be better. You've done that, and you do coaching and training yourself. You train other people to basically duplicate the work you've done. So what? How do you do it, and who are the people that you've helped over the years?
Yeah, and I don't coach professionally. I coach my team, but
Oh, sure.
I just, coach the people on my team. But yeah, as far as the people that I've helped over the years, tremendous. So in the mortgage business, I was in the business from 97 to '09, so for 12 years and did over $500 million in transactions, as you mentioned. But really, ever since then, I've been building technology platforms to help people to create referral partnerships and to nurture their relationships so that they become known, liked, and trusted, and then people send them business. And so that's what works. That's what worked for me 25 years ago. It works to this day. And so that's really what we help people do. We teach the referral partner blueprint and really helping people to formalize their referral partnerships with others who are already serving their perfect prospects every day. And when you add value to them and they're able to add value to the clients, then everybody wins together.
Well, again, in sales, in the business world, I mean, it's one person, one, word of mouth is the key, right? I mean, you experience somebody and some work, some level of satisfaction, and you share with everybody, like, hey, listen, I want you to talk to Brandon. But you created platforms to do these things. Now I know you've created some platforms in the real estate world, right? That's the home, piece
Mhm.
first, and then you went into just these types of where you build a network of referrals where people kind of connect with each other and really, I guess, expand their entourage, if you want, your professional entourage and connections. I mean, there is that saying, your network is your net worth, so it makes a difference, right?
It makes a huge difference. My last company that we sold it, but it was called Refer.com, and we had over 5 million members on our platform that had profiles, and then we're meeting with other members to create referral partnerships and do more business with each other. And so, I mean, I've been blessed to be able to see the data and how networks really build and how they cross refer and cross promote each other. And so, that's really what we built into the raving referral system is those best practices. And I always recommend that people kind of do a self-assessment and go, okay, when it comes to referrals, how is my business working right now? What people don't realize is that people are 400% more likely to hire you when they get referred to you. So your closing ratio is astronomical and your client acquisition cost is minimal because typically there's no cost whatsoever when somebody recommends you. And so it's a great way to build your business. Plus, those clients that are referred are on average 16% more profitable because they'll spend more money with you, they will stay with you for longer, and they will refer others because they come to you already trusting you before you've even talked to them for the first time.
They're pre-sold, pre-ready. They know they have a good, I guess, testimonial about what you can do for them and how you do it and whether,
Yeah.
you're really worth the investment and working with. And that's really, again, that, by the way, this is for business as large or individual, personal, work level, right? I mean, even if you're just a salesperson, that's really what makes, and I can tell you, like in my world in the insurance space, I've had personally a lot of, good traction in there, but I know some of our successful agents have literally made tremendous income because of their referral, channels and their resourceful stuff that they've built over the years. Because literally, they don't even work. They're just like literally on the phone, like, hey, I got this. They get emails, they get texts. Hey, talk to my friend, talk to this one, talk to the other one. You got doctors referring business, you got pharmacists referring business. You name it in that space. That's really great. If you have those people that are talk to Brandon, that's it. I mean, you're good. You're pretty much ready. And that's a sale that's already like 99% closed. You just got to like do the
That's right.
work, the work. So it's not like you don't have to pitch anymore. They might have questions. You just want to make sure. And you've got, of course, there's another thing you got to maintain, right? you get success in the stuff, but you cannot phase out of things and just not deliver. You still have to deliver. So there is accountability that comes with that. So
Yeah,
so
and the beauty is you get to do what you do best. Most people are really good at what they do. That's my experience, right? They're good at being a realtor or an attorney or a mortgage lender, whatever, painter, plumber, whatever their industry and profession is. They're usually really good at their trade, but always not always great at marketing and building their business. And so if they can spend their time doing what they're best at, which is actually providing their service rather than having to try and chase clients, then that's where they get into financial freedom, because now they've got the referrals coming to them automatically or consistently. And now they're able to just do their highest revenue activities, which is actually serving your clients.
well, thank you. And so for business owners or either startups or people who are trying to open or people that are already in existing business, how would you rate the importance? And I guess the answer is pretty clear, but just in your words, how do you kind of scale that for audiences? And because that's, I think, a fear that everybody is experiencing. A lot of people are afraid to get into business because they're not sure where to start and what's
Mm,
really the thing that's going to make a difference for them. Because everybody, I mean, a lot of people start with business. They have an idea. They can even start the business, but they're not sure where the clients come from,
yeah,
how they
yeah.
can maintain the client. I love what you said, that if you really can run that part, then the rest is easy. You just focus on what matters most, and the rest will continue happening. So, what would you say to that?
Well, a few things. Number one thing that you're pointing to is the difference between selling and serving.
Nice.
And so people that get in business, oftentimes their focus is on selling. I've got to win new business. I got to be selling. And what happens is there's an attachment to the outcome of winning the client and making the money, which is totally natural, by the way. But energetically, it's like this closed kind of energy. Whereas when you're more abundant thinking and you're focused on just giving rather than getting, how can I serve these people? What can I do to create a wow experience for them? Which, by the way, is what then leads to those raving referrals. The more you manufacture wow in what you provide, the more referrals are going to come to you. But when you focus on serving rather than selling, then you're in a different heart space, you're in a different energy, and you connect with your clients differently, right? If I'm focused on just selling them, that's one experience. But if I really focus on just serving them, what's their challenge? How can I help them? What's going to be the best for them, regardless of what it means for your personal income? And when you come from that energy, then you become famous and people talk about you all the time.
I'm listening to you, and again, I'm just like, getting excited more and more here because really that's really what true sales is. You do not want to sell. I mean, we use the word sales, randomly sometimes, and it has a negative connotation when you hear it that way, because like, oh, aggressive. But really, it's really we should just start referring to it: advice, consult, and serve. I mean, really, these are the key elements that we need to focus on. Because if you're serving, as you said, you're not really pitching. You are solving, resolving, meeting the needs of these folks and helping them really with through your solution, whatever product service that you have. And I love what you said. It's not so much about how much you make, because there might be some people that you cannot really, your product or service may not really be for them. I think that's the mistake that a lot of salespeople do. They pitch something because they just want to get that commission or that sale. It's a quota. I just need to get my numbers. And you actually bust quickly because you're not going to get the referrals, which is the bigger picture. You're just looking for that quick fix, the sale, the one. But that's like it's not going to be consistent. It's not going to support you for life, and you're going to ruin the reputation. I love what you said, because if you did the right thing by people, they're going to love you. The rest is history. I mean, you make a name that way. That is not about the money. It's about the service. It's about what you're bringing, the value that you're going to give them. And actually, if you hear all the talks out there about business, you're going to hear about value, solving the problems of people. That's really what happens. And by the way, this is not just about the clients or the customers, but even like employees, for example. If you make them and you serve them well as well, that can make a difference. So we serve a lot of folks in our life, and if you do it correctly, then you basically score big. I mean, that's it. So that I love that. Thank you for breaking that up, because that's a big deal for people, and people don't differentiate that oftentimes.
Yeah, and Hurricane, you just said something huge, right? Which is your team, the people that work for you. I mean, that's your most important client, quite frankly, because if they're unhappy, they're going to tell everybody about it. But if they love your business and how they make a difference, then they're going to tell everybody about it. They're going to show up differently, they're going to be lit up, and then your business shines. And so if you have people that work for you and they're disgruntled and they're not happy, that's a poor reflection on your business. You need to take them aside and get them into the right headspace, or they need to move on.
Well, but then again, that's about leadership and how you operate, right? So you got to work with folks in a good way. You got to work with your true, as you said, your first customers are the ones that are going to help and serve, your audiences, and doing the right by them takes good leadership because we hear this all the time. People leave a boss, you know, uh, not a job, because if they don't have the right leadership, they're not happy. As you said, they're gonna badmouth it. They're gonna have a bad, rating reviews for you, and that's in itself. Like if I am a client and or a customer, and I look at a review for you as an employer, and I don't see that, great star review on you today. Everything's about stars and reviews, right? I'm already like, these people don't even take of their own people, right? How are they going to do this or the other? So that can start, already, given. And you're right, bad mouthing. Oh, this company sucks. These people, they're lying. Don't. And that's what it is because they're just temporary for the paycheck, and eventually they're going to move on. But I love what you said. Now, if you train them and they start believing in stuff and they really buy in and you treat them correctly, they're gonna do more. You don't even have to say. They basically take it. This is their part. They believe in that mission. They believe in the serving, and they're gonna just deliver more. And the rest is history. So what we're talking about here, folks, is stuff that you probably know about. You might have heard about it, but we're just highlighting. And Brandon has a very successful rate in these capacities, and therefore you can take it to the bank. Literally. Now that leads me to the bank methodology. That now you use something called bank. Now this is an acronym, I believe,
Yeah.
and so let's break it down. And I want to also touch on something because I think we're talked about the idea of like asking and working with people, but there is one thing that people have in business that is almost a weakness in a lot of folks, even salespeople, which is asking for the referral. I mean, you can close,
Mm.
but when it comes like, hey, do you know anyone, or do you know someone who knows someone who knows someone? We tend not to do that. A lot of folks they just get like, well, I want them to test first, and I want to before they can do stuff. It's part of you. Like that's a big deal. So let's talk about those two elements: your bank sales methodology and the ask for the referral.
Art of the ask. Okay, sure, yeah. So you're absolutely right. BANK is an acronym and it stands for Blueprint, Action, Nurturing, and Knowledge. And basically, those four personality styles make up each person's personality. And some people have heard of DISC or Myers-Briggs, MBTI, color code. There's so many different types of personality assessments. But what I love about the bank code system is that I use these cards and I take them with me to events. And I tell people it's kind of like a magic trick. So recently, as I was at this tech conference and the event had just ended, the panel had dispersed. I was talking to one of the other attendees afterwards, and I explained to him that the way that this system works is that you hand someone the cards, you ask them to rate the cards in order of what's most like them to least like them. And when they hand you the cards back, you now understand who they are and how they think. Okay. And I said, what's amazing about this is usually in about 3 minutes time from meeting somebody, they're walking away from the conversation thinking he gets me. Right. So this is literally what I said to this man. Right then, one of the speakers walks over and she said, hey, did I hear magic trick? I love magic trick. So I hand her the cards and I say, do me a favor, read the information on the cards and sort them in the order of what's most like you to least like you. That will help me serve you better and save us both time. So she looks at the cards and she spends only 30 seconds and she hands the cards back to me in a certain order. I took the next 1 minute to basically say, oh, I see that you're this first and here's what that means. And so I described her back to herself. And in 90 seconds, after 90 seconds of meeting this woman, She turns to the other man that I was just talking to, and she literally says, "He gets me." And I'm like, it was just the most perfect case. So B.A.N.K is like instant empathy. Everyone has a personality code, but until you understand how someone else is wired, you really don't know how they make decisions, including buying decisions, right? Why they buy. Some people buy quick action. They want the benefits and the juice and the buzz, right? They like to have name brand stuff, and so they're going to buy the best, and they're going to pay more for it, and they're going to be proud of the fact that they do. Other people are very frugal, and they want to buy the best based on the technical specifications of a product. And so there's different things that matter to different people. And with the B.A.N.K system, it helps you understand who your prospect is so that you can provide them the information that's going to help them make a buying decision in the least amount of time, but with the optimal outcome for all.
Well, thank you, and I love that. I mean, it's you mentioned DISC. I've actually gone through that whole exercise about it, but it's really powerful stuff too. I love it because, as you said, if you can determine how their personality is going to be, you know exactly how to tackle, and have the discussion with them. You're not going to pitch them the wrong stuff. You know exactly what they want, how they're going to want it, and what's going to kick. As opposed to like just dumping stuff at them that's not going to make sense. And it's really that's what it comes out. I mean, sales is psychiatry 101. It's really psychology. I mean, big stuff. I mean, you're talking about the mind, you're talking about behavior, you're talking about, as you said, emotions. It's all there. And so if you want to serve, as you said, better, you want to understand what are you going to serve them with. And, it's like food, right? I mean, you're not going to serve food to people just like that. You got to know what, if they have any restrictions, if they have religious, aspects, they have, allergies, whatever. You need to know that. How are you going to know it? You have to ask, right? And so it's a very, concept that is basic, but yet complicated. And we make a lot of mistakes there because we are always, I guess, just we have an impulse of just pitching. A lot of, business, folks in general, and sales, specifically business development, we pitch a lot, and we're known to talk a lot. And, sometimes that is a wrong attitude. I mean, there's a lot of, and by the way, that actually leads to the concept of, listening, active listening. You want to ask the open-ended, get the stuff, listen, repeat, make sure that you understand what they're about. As you said, then the rest is history. And I love what you said. If you can do that in the 90 minutes, 90 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes tops, you're already like ahead of the game. I mean, you don't have to waste hours of trying to figure out this person's, format and what they need and how they're going to operate. You already know their personality. So I think your card should be everybody's, everybody's pocket that is in business. Let me do this with you. Let's figure out. Let's get to know each other better. Here, tell me about yourself. That's really it. I
Well,
mean, it's
the
of
coolest thing, Hurricane, is it's all about them. So they're fascinated, right? Because
course.
you're not talking about yourself at all. It has nothing to do with you. You're helping them understand who they are. And in the process, you know exactly who they are. And now you can provide them information in a way that's going to make a difference. For you, I can tell you're high action, man. You like to stand out. Look at the neon sign behind you. You got your name on your shirt. You're ready to charge far hard. And so for somebody like you, we want to net out the benefits. We don't want to bore you with all the details and all the plans and the process. You're likely not going to care about that. You want to understand what's the benefit and how quick and how fast and easy is this going to be.
You get me,
Very
man.
different from someone who's high knowledge and they want to understand every step and every procedure. Totally different presentation.
No, well, actually, you nailed it right there, man. Because I am red and orange in the disc, which basically that's exactly the characteristics. You describe me well. You get me just as you said. But
And
but
that's
that
what happens because with this system, when somebody tells you who they are and you speak it back to them, I can tell, man, you are a go-getter. You are high action. You're probably drinking Red Bulls for breakfast and you love the red carpet and love to have your podcast and have your time to shine. Well, that feeds the ego of the other person that you're talking to. And they also understand that you really do understand who they are. And when they feel heard, they feel connected. So I haven't seen anything else that builds rapport as fast as B.A.N.K.
well, you said building report in sales. That is after probing and prospecting. it's, I mean, prospecting really, like canvassing and making, like finding the business. That's really the first connection with you, what you have with your clients. You want to be able to build a rapport, and most talking about interviews, I actually do like role playing interviews. So randomly, like you would come in, I'll just, give you a scenario. I'm not, you don't tell me what you're going to do and what to say. I'll tell you, I'm a character, you're a character. Here's your role, here's my role. Let's play. And then basically, and I engage with them. And what I do, especially in sales, I give them a scenario where they have to kind of pitch me something, but I'm looking for them to actually get to know me and know what my needs
Mm,
are. And I would say literally 90% fail.
mm.
No, because 90% they go straight to the pitch, they're straight to the benefits, and what the features this is going to be for you. And then I, I'm you don't even know what I want. And I purposely trick them that way. And that's the thing. What you said is really the most powerful. If you get over that, everything else becomes easy.
Oh, it's so huge. What you're talking about, I call it pitch slapping. You get pitch slapped on LinkedIn every single day. You
Oh,
get
don't
connection
let's go
requests from
started.
people that you've never met. And before they ever try and get to meet you, what you're talking about is what happens in the real world. And I see this online as well. And people are just pitching you. They're asking for you to sign up a calendar invite and have a conversation before they've ever even really set the hook and got you on the hook. So I think it's interesting. I've experienced that at networking events where immediately somebody's coming up to you and they're just vomiting really
Mm.
information about what they do and how they help. And it's like, that's awesome. Good for you. And hopefully they take time to learn a little bit about you and see where the commonalities might lie.
Well, I love it. That's actually, you don't get me started with LinkedIn because I get bombarded on a day-to-day basis. And you're right. Many of them that they see I have a profile that is very thick. It's got a lot of stuff that all you got to do is look at my profile a little bit. You know who I am. I mean, you don't even have to ask a lot of questions. You can see the personality. You can see a lot of things. You can see my connections. You can see all. But they ask you about something that you have nothing to do with. That's not your world anymore, or that's not even your world. I'm like, I mean, you just want to put it there. Basically, you just get ignored. I mean, it's what is your close ratio here? What is your conversions? None, zero. I mean, it's not going to
I
work.
think it's a bot, Hurricane. I don't think there's any person putting any thought into it. Somebody has automated a script that is sending you those invitations and those connection requests. I know because I've hired companies that have done it. I mean, we've got an active campaign right now, although I've got humans doing it because I don't want to have that experience. But we are looking to connect with C-level executives of service companies that serve homeowners. So we use LinkedIn and we have a marketing strategy to connect with influencers and executives to do that. But from my perspective, those bots are ineffective because everybody gets pitch slaps. Now, I've seen some people do it well. Again, that's cold marketing. For me, first and foremost, it's always about referrals. How do we get that trust transfer? If we know that people are 400% more likely to buy from us if we're referred, how do we get referred more often? In the B2B space, 83% of B2B sales start with the referral because you don't have to, but it certainly helps to have that recommendation and that trust factor built, right? So that you're standing above the competition before you even open your mouth. So that's why referrals are so important. I realize we're hitting a dead horse. You asked about the art of the ask. Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really the biggest thing because people they can do a lot of good stuff up front, and then they get to that end and they just butcher it. I mean, they just are not good at it. A lot of people fail because they're unable to ask for the close and ask for the next business, and that's really a dangerous play. And you can be good, but if you can't master that, you're not going to be able to do anything. I mean, and especially when it has money involved, I think that's really the biggest problem.
It's a huge impact on your income. And if you're not asking for referrals, you are literally leaving thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. And the beauty is there's an easy way to ask for referrals so that everybody is comfortable. And the way that you do that is with the RDS. Sorry, I've got two dogs that are circling my
It's all right,
desk
man.
right now, going around in circles. So let me see if I can
Let them
concentrate
play.
here.
They're our guests too. I get
Yeah,
them all
that's
the
real
time. I get
life,
them all
huh?
the time. Bring him
Okay,
on, bring
chill
him
out,
up, bring him
Willie.
up.
Chill out. This is a little pug. So, all right. So, with the art of the ask, The goal is for you to feel comfortable asking, and then also for your client to feel totally comfortable the whole way through. And it's really simple, it's fast, it's easy, and you should be doing this every single new client that you win. And the first step is called setting the stage. The second step is listening for the referral triggers. And the third step is to ASK to GET. And I say it that way because that's how it was taught to me, and it works, so you work it. So setting the stage means when you first get a new client, before you let them leave your office or your Zoom, let them know, hey, before you leave, can I ask you a favor? They'll all say either yes or maybe, tell me what it is, right? And then you say, well, listen, our business is really run by referrals, and I love helping clients like you get this type of result. And you talk about the difference that you're looking forward to making with them. And then you basically say, I am so committed to wowing you with our service at the end. Once that we've delivered our service to you and you're thrilled with the result, would it be okay to ask you for referrals then? Okay, setting the stage. You're not putting them on the spot right now. You're not asking them for anything right now. You're
Give me
basically
10
saying,
names.
I'm going to do a great job. And when I do, I'd like to ask for the approval, the right to ask you for referrals. Would that be okay? What do you think they're going to say to that, Hurricane?
Definitely. Sure. I
Of
mean,
course.
there's no loss there. I mean, it's a perfect win-win. Wow
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Prove to me
Yeah,
that you're going to
exactly.
wow me.
Yeah,
Okay, game
that's it.
on, right? I accept the challenge.
And
So everybody says yes to that.
Mhm.
Okay. And you're not, even though you're asking, sometimes you'll get referrals right then. They'll say, well, now that you mention it, I have a client, a friend, a neighbor, a family member, and they could use your service, and you'll win referrals immediately. But usually what happens is they'll say yes, they'll agree. And then now you start to provide your service. You start to do and deliver what you provide, and you go and you make a difference for them. And while you're doing that, you're in step two now. You're listening for the referral triggers. Remember, step two, we got two ears, and we want to listen twice as much as we talk. And when we hear them go, wow, or, oh, thank you, Hurricane, this made such a difference, right? You helped me make so much money, save so much money. I look great. I feel great. Whatever it is that you provide as the benefit, the end result with your service, you want to do that excellently. And then when you hear wow or thanks or some sort of expression of appreciation, that's when you go to step three, which is to ASK to GET. And it's so easy because they've just said thank you. Okay. And your response back to them, what should be, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Remember earlier, I told you I was going to impress you and wow you with the service that we've delivered. Well, now that you've experienced that and you're thanking me like you are, I'd love to ask you for referrals. Remember, you said it would be okay? Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, again, I love helping people like you get this result. Who do you know that might be facing that same issue or might be interested in partnering with us and providing this type of solution for their clients? And so it's easy. People will be happy to refer you people. You just have to ask them, because if you don't ask, you don't get.
I love that. ASK, GET, right? You know,
Simple.
so I mean, again, simple is always good. I mean, and by the way, and I love, I mean, you're breaking it down to basic elements that we ought to know about, because if you're in the business world, this is stuff that you should be your primary foundations. I mean, these are pillars of action, right? You can't do it. And if you're in the world of business, you are in the world of sales. I think that's another thing,
Right.
that understand that you cannot possibly have any business without some sort of a business development growth. And growth means you are pitching some level of service or product to someone or party, whether it's individuals or corporations, you name it. And even corporations, they still are decision makers within that particular corporation. They're going to make that call and final, sale. So it's amazing, that you've touched on all these great elements, and these are all, like, again, pillars. Now,
Well, and there's one more if we
sure,
can.
please.
We talked about the art of the ask. The other thing that you want to do is to automate the ask. And what that means is in your email signature line or in your invoices or your proposals or your agreement, you can integrate requests for referrals, right? You can add a PS to your email. PS, the greatest gift you can give me is a referral. Or PS, we love helping people like you. So you can, PS, I love referrals. You can literally integrate that in everything you do.
Well, that's pretty intense. And I love that. I mean, automation is always a new thing to have. I mean, it's now we can do that all the time. And you're right. I mean, you have email signatures, you got a lot of ways to do it. It's not necessarily just a verbal after you finish the pitch. There's always that opportunity. Now,
And you can gamify it. Maybe you've got a team that works for you, and maybe you've got support people that deliver the product or service that you provide, and you want to train them to ask for referrals and then incentivize them to get referrals. Make it a game within your business that everybody that gets a referral from a client gets $5 or $10, depending on the profitability of your product or service. But if you gamify it, you create a culture around referrals. We recommend you do a referral rewards program, like an affiliate program or a contest. And you don't have to give up a lot of money, but you just make it fun for your clients and customers, and you'll see your referrals will increase and your revenue will increase.
You're right, and I love what you said. I mean, those incentives work. I mean, for staff, they're great, especially salespeople. They love those things. It could be small things, gift cards, this, that, the other. You put a number, you put competition, or a little bit of a context. A contest between the teammates. There's a lot of, and even for your clients, sometimes you can put referral bonuses. Like if you send referral people to us, you get I don't know XYZ complimentary this or the other, and it also works. I mean, it has to be again talking about value. You're doing something, but you're giving back something at the same time, and really that's all it is. They'll do it anyways, but when you make it a little bit more with a value to it attached, it's even much more pleasure to just do business with you. It makes it a lot easier.
Well, yeah, and the reality is everybody that's listening to this conversation right now gets referrals for their business at some point in some way. The question is how many and how consistently. And that's what we teach is really systemize the business.
I love that. I mean, consistency and the growth, right? It's a number game. At the end of the day, the more the merrier, the better. And I mean, again, it is a low averages, so you need to have more referrals. I mean, 90% of them, like you said, will be pretty much pre-closed, ready, and they'll have a higher, conversion rate, but some may not because again, circumstances may vary, whatever the case. But you're right. It's a matter of kind of making that part of the process. But now you mentioned something that's interesting about like affiliate marketing. That's actually the new wave of doing stuff. I mean, you see it now in TikTok Shop. You see it in almost every company has an affiliate, concept where, hey, if you send us some business, and you promote this, here's a link, and you'll get a commission for any. And you have thousands of people out there. They're just going to stagger. I mean, these numbers are just going to start, adding up, and that's really how it works. So if you can automate things and have these systems in place, it's just going to make it a lot more better. So it's amazing how this stuff now one of the things that people have, I guess, business people usually challenged with is cost and where do I acquire business and stuff like that. What would we say to people about that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when we think about affiliate marketing, and I think a lot more people are getting comfortable with that conversation around affiliate marketing. I started doing that back in 1999. I had an e-commerce company called Longevity Labs. We started doing affiliate marketing and really offering people rewards. And so I've been doing it for 25 years now, and I found it to be incredibly helpful. If you can integrate that into as part of your client attraction process, super helpful. So does that answer the question, or is there more there, Hurricane?
No. That's the second part was about just like people have a problem with leads in general, and just basic business because of cost. I mean, how can we get people to generate more with less? Basically, I mean, I know you mentioned campaigning right now, so that people are afraid because that can cost money and may not have, especially startup businesses where they're still in the early days.
I think a lot of it is just education. People haven't necessarily studied marketing. Again, they're good at their trade or their craft, but they aren't necessarily a marketing, expert. And that was my degree in college. So I've been studying marketing for a long time. And it's just interesting to see, right? Because some people do it really well and others not so much. In my experience, about 90% of the people that I've had in my audiences, if I've been asking their number one biggest business challenge is attracting more clients and customers. And so that's why this mission is so important to me, just helping as many people as possible figure this out. And again, the reality is everybody gets referrals. They just don't know how or why, and they don't know how to increase that. So we recommend people start by taking the referral score quiz, and you can go to referralscorequiz.com, and there's 10 different best practices. You'll rate yourself from 1 to 10 on each of those, and then that will give you your referral score, and then you'll see where the gaps in your referral business are. That's usually a great way for people to start, and it helps them see some of the blind spots in their business.
Thank you, Brian. So a couple of things. I do want to briefly touch on the HOA.com, just if you want to tell us a little bit more about that. Definitely
Yeah.
want to go into, your training or the raving referrals concept, and then the alliance piece that we talked about, and then
Okay,
finally we
sure.
want to close with the books.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot to cover then.
Yeah,
So,
no.
yeah, number one, you can go to ravingreferrals.com. You can check out, we do have a course. There is a book on Amazon. There's actually two. There is one called Raving Referrals, which is for everyone. And then we've created a version called Raving Referrals for Dentists. I think you can figure out who that's for. We
Mhm.
have an upcoming book. The next release is Raving Referrals for Mortgage Pros. My mentor was Mark Victor Hansen. He wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, and he's sold over 600 million books. I spent 2 hours with him just yesterday. So he taught me don't write a book, build a brand. And that's what we're doing. And the book is really the playbook for everybody that's part of HOA.com. So HOA.com is really a referral network of professionals who serve homeowners. But because we do have the domain HOA.com, we're also out to revolutionize homeowner associations because we're champions for homeowners, and we want to stand in the gap between the HOA and the homeowner to improve the experience for everyone in the community. And then we do community impact events. So like this past Saturday, we had a party in a park in one community with a bounce house and ice cream and hot dogs, and kids were playing games and winning prizes. And it's just a lot of fun to bring neighbors together again. But on the business side, what we do is we help professionals who serve homeowners, and we help them create referral partnerships, and then we automate co-marketing. What that means is we send out a report to the homeowner about their home, including how much their home is worth. And in that report, it gets branded by the professionals who are working together, the realtor, mortgage lender, painter, inspector, whoever that group is. It helps everyone promote everyone else at the same time. So really powerful program. So that's what we're doing. People can go to HOA.com. There's a wait list currently. It opens here in 36 days, but you can get on the wait list and get signed up.
Well, I love it. I mean, it's really a hub of resources, basically. I mean, it's, and believe it or not, the concept that I have on our media platform is an actual a resource place where people can connect to you and your resources as they need something that they hear about it on either channel of ours. So I love that, and it makes a difference because we are creating the opportunity for others to have access to different services that they might need. And in this case, you have a niche, and that's really where you are. The homeowners, they have HOAs, as you said. That's a big deal. A lot of people don't like those things, and sometimes there's conflict there. But the concept is beyond. You want all the services that can help you transit from in or out of a property or invest and so on and so forth. So it's plenty of stuff that's out there. Now, you still reside and live in the world of referrals. I think that's really, I mean, no wonder you are called the king of referrals. So, I think that adds up very nicely, and we can see why. But now the biggest piece you're working on right now is your alliance or worldwide alliance. Is that what it is called?
Yeah, the world's largest alliance. Yeah, so this is a fun project. We're out to win 2 world records on February 29th, 2024. And if you're listening and you want to be a world record host, you can go to worldslargestalliance.com, and you can either sign up to join us at the event or to actually host an event. But basically, what we're out to win is the world record for the world's largest partnership event. And so we have these satellite events that are happening all over the US and even some internationally, where people will come together to do networking, to basically meet others that are business owners, business professionals, people that they could do business with and really promote and refer clients to when they have a need for those services. So that's the first world record on February 29th. And people will create their own. We have people that are hosting in different states around the US, and basically they become the star. So they get to host an event, invite people in, and they are the star of the show. And then when people register, and they'll qualify for the second world record, which is the most digital business cards exchanged. And so they'll get a free mobile app and they'll be able to meet people, exchange digital business cards, and when they leave, they'll actually have in their mobile app, they'll have all the contact info for everyone they met that night. And they'll know where they met them, and they'll have a record of that. And then we help fix follow-up failure. So all of that's part of the world's largest alliance, big networking event where we're going to win the world records for the largest partnership event and the most digital business cards passed. And that's going to happen on February 29th. And you can learn more at worldslargestalliance.com.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, as you were talking, going back to the days where we had those breakfast networking events and
Yeah, man.
after hours, networking events, you go in, you
Absolutely.
mingle, you exchange cards, and you put them in one of those bowls where, and you got a little hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and you get to, or you actually pitch your company for like 2 minutes, you stand up and you talk about, what you do. Everybody gets in. I mean, especially the Chamber of Commerce's work were great about that. And they still exist,
Absolutely.
but I think you're taking this to the next level now and really doing it on a cyberspace constant concept. It's all,
We're actually activating. We're partnering with all those chambers of commerce. Is any of them that want to get involved? Like we've got one group in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the Chamber of Commerce there is all over this. They're super excited, and they're not only doing one main one for their chamber, but they're doing multiple locations because they've got people that meet in different areas around town. And so, it really gives people the flexibility. You just choose a venue, whether it's a restaurant, a bar, your office, church, home, whatever you want. And then you invite people in to be a part of this, and it's all done for you. We give you a whole checklist of what to do, and it makes it a lot of fun because you've got an exciting campaign, and you get to help other people become world record winners.
listen, it sounds like exciting. And I think it is unique because I don't know if that happened before. This is like, as you said, this is pretty much
Not that I
innovative and
know
new.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I've been around long enough to know, and I've been quite a bit of places. This is not something that I've seen done before, at least not at the scale that you're talking about, and
Right.
nationally and internationally. That's large. I mean, again, you might get the Guinness, record too. Yeah,
Well, so we know what the Guinness World Record is, and when I say we're going to win the world record, it actually will be to beat the Guinness World Record. But here in the US, the World Record Academy is the official, like approved by the United States government. That's the World Record Agency. And so when people check into their event, they'll scan a QR code that will record the GPS location of that person's phone so that we can validate that they were really there at that date and time. So we've got a whole process, but the World Record Academy will be the one to validate the world record. And then we can go to Guinness if we choose. But, what's important to
no,
us is to know that we've achieved the world record.
I have no doubt it's going to happen. I mean, certainly you have the drive, and I'm sure you have a good team and the people out there that doing this. Because I told you, I think I've got something through say on my LinkedIn profile about it, and I think I might have signed up for something there to attend or something. I forgot. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I got something, but it really kind of clicks. When you said that, I'm like, huh. I think I know what that is about already. but
Well,
that's
it'll be
amazing.
fun, and hopefully you'll choose to host an event because if you get to host, you get to be the star. It gives you something to promote. And one key is, regardless of whether you participate in the world's largest alliance, if you're in business, start inviting people out to events. If you're going to an event, don't go alone. Bring a networking buddy, work the room together. I always do that intentionally. I'll invite multiple people. Number one, because most people won't accept. So you get credit for offering to give value to them, even if they don't accept it, right? It gives you a reason to follow up with them because you never want to say, hey, I'm just calling to touch base or to follow up. Nobody wants that. Call with intention, call with bringing value or text, whatever the message is, but add value to the people whose lives that you're building relationship with. And that's when you'll get their attention because they'll know you care and that you're always doing fun stuff.
I love it. Again, this is like something like a deja vu because we've my team and I, we, at least in the insurance space, we do a lot of these events, right? Like for example, one of the common one that we used to do every year was the Somerset Futuro conference in Albany, New York. And
Nice.
it's politicians, and it's company sponsorships, and a lot of people come up there, and companies, competition, and different representations from different businesses from upstate New York and downstate New York. And there's these mingling events and workshop and things like that, and cocktail hours and so on and so forth, and people just work the rooms. I mean, and so we would literally split up, and everybody's getting connected with people, and then we get business cards, and then we put them in a at the end, like how many contacts we made and so on and so forth, and then we start doing the follow-ups. I mean, it's like this is like the old school way, but I mean, everything is evolving, and seeing it the way it's actually being presented today, it's just like that's the next level stuff, and it's just going to get better. And I love that digital piece of it too, like how many digital exchanges you're going to have. I mean, that's another way to do it. I mean, really, it's I mean, there's a lot of platforms now that are coming out. I mean, I think an Alignable is one of that's out there that does the networking pieces, and it's pretty fairly new. I mean, I'm not sure how long it's been existing, but it's not. I know I got involved about a year or so with it, and but like for example, we talked about LinkedIn earlier. I mean, that kind of like was one of the first ones for
Yeah.
profiles and things like
Yeah.
that where
So
people, yeah.
LinkedIn started May 5th, 2003. I know it because it was the day that my daughter was born. When you
Wow.
talk about Alignable, we were competing against Alignable 10 years ago as Refer.com. So I've been watching them for a decade now, and their product and platform has really grown. I think they've done a great job at creating what they have at Alignable. That's a great resource too. I mean, you can go on there and with your free profile, you can get pretty well connected and look for the people that you want. The key is building partnerships that you do business with for years to come. Okay. Look for quality over quantity. One great referral partner can send you a lot of business. Look for the people who have clients that are coming to them with the challenges you solve. If you become the solution that they get to recommend to their clients to solve their clients' company challenges, everybody wins, and you'll get more business than you know what to do with.
Thank you. And what's I think the beauty about this is that it doesn't matter what your niche or niche is, this works for everyone. You just got to know exactly what your angle is, and who is your audience, and you basically are doing your thing. So
It
it's
works when you work it. We tell people it's like going to the gym. Just buying a gym membership doesn't help you get results. You got to do the work.
well, like everything else, right? I mean, this is exactly what it is. It's taking the actions, right? Speak to,
Yeah,
talk the talk and walk the walk, not just preach. Right?
that's right.
You got to get your hands dirty a little bit, right? But
Absolutely.
it's all positive. It's all successful. It's all gonna get you where you need to be. So wow. Well, listen. I mean, we are at the end of the hour. I mean, we've covered a lot of grounds, and now you did. I think you mentioned the books, but I think there's another book that you have in the market. Do we want to talk about that one?
Well,
Um,
raving referrals and raving referrals for mortgage, sorry, for dentists. So the two books that I have published myself right now. You're talking about Cracking the Millionaire Code,
that's
which is a
that's
book
the
that
one.
I was written about in. So in that book that was published in 2005, they featured me in the book. What was cool about that was that when I had written down my goals, that was one of them. I wanted that author, Mark Victor Hansen, to write about me in a book by May 28th, 2005. And that book came out May 31st, 2005. So it's a great book. Take a look at it. But to me, it was life changing because it showed me the power of writing down your goals. And that if you really get intentional about what you want out of life, again, life by design, the more clarity that you have and the more that you seek and speak what it is that you want to achieve and create, the faster it comes to pass. So be intentional, take the time to really spend time envisioning and visualizing what it is that you want to experience, create, manifest, achieve, and you'll be amazed how quickly it'll come to you.
Brandon, I usually ask about giving us last words of wisdom. I think you already covered that.
Mic drop.
That's it. Boom, that's it. Drop mic, baby. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, Brandon, thank you so much for being with us today. You've enlightened me, and I'm sure you've enlightened quite a few people out there. And you give people a little bit of a push that, they can actually get their game to the next level. I might even use some tricks myself that I learned today because I
Come
don't
on.
apply everything. I mean, it's amazing, but like sometimes things are in front of you, you just don't see the value until somebody highlights them. So
That's
thank you
right.
for doing that. I mean, really, it's just an eye opener and ear opener.
Oh,
So
my pleasure. And I'll give you one last word of wisdom, and it's a short one. If you want to attract, you've got to act. The law of attraction literally has the word action built into it. Okay. So if you want more success, you got to take more actions and don't worry about what is somebody going to think? What is somebody going to say? Just focus on what it is that you desire. And the more energy you put into it, the faster it'll come to pass.
you just speak my language, dude. I mean, you said it like I'm a person about action. That's exactly how I live. I mean, you see it, you go after it, no matter what, and people will say whatever they want, and that's just the way it is. People will say things. Whether you're successful, people are going to say things. You're not successful, people are going to say things. So at the end of the day, good, bad, someone, and even when you're successful, people are still going like, oh, he did this, he did that. They're going to find something to criticize. It's unfortunate. It's our nature as humans, and it's sad, but it's part of the game.
Hurricane, their opinion of you is none of your business.
Oh, I love it. See, we get more wisdom by the second way, man. But thank you for that because really a lot of people are hanging on the idea like, I'm worried about what people are going to think. Folks, listen, don't worry about them. There's nothing. They're not paying your bills. They're not, taking the work. They're not doing anything for you. I actually say this. If you have any, like, you want to criticize what I do, and you think it can be done better, please come in, do it for free, and I'll take it, But if not, then that's about it. Because that's the other thing. People sometimes they don't think that you are thinking about all the other options that exist, but you might be
Hmm.
limited in time and finances and all the stuff. And you have phase two. I mean, like everything starts with version one. Whether it's the software or anything. I mean, you do upgrade. I mean, the phones that we have today. Well, no, the iPhone's 14, 15. I forgot what the new number is, but it started with one iPhone, right? And those ideas are the same. So you all have this, but when you start thinking about what everybody else is going to think, what you say, what you do, how you do it, how you look, then you just, focused on the wrong aspect of things. You head forward, you look forward, you focus up front, and the rest is history. You just keep going. I mean, that's actually my concept, Brendan. So thank you for really reigniting that. I mean, I think sometimes it's good to hear it from someone such as yourself who has the expertise and the success, real status over years. And so hearing it from you, it just gives a different, potential, a different boost as well. So it's like a booster shot. Thank you.
Oh, right. Well, I hopefully you'll hear it and you'll take action. Hopefully something I've said has landed for you and it'll make a difference for you. Hurricane, I appreciate you having me on the show. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and God bless you and everything you're doing, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. And we'll stay connected. So, folks, this is the end of the show. Hope you've had a great time with us. You've learned a few tricks. And if not, you've probably just reset a few tricks that you might have in your toolbox. But at the end of the day, it's a win win. Take it to the bank, literally B.A.N.K. Use that trick, whatever it is. And that's about it. So, I'm Hurricane H. We'll be talking soon. New day, new show, new topic. Bye for now.